Hi, I'm Brian Thayard, and these are messages to you, myself, because we're all in this together. And not only are we all in this together, but we're all the same heart, the same loving awareness behind all phenomena. And we all have the same opportunity to be true to that in whatever deep or little way we can. So, today's message is about going with the flow. And, the first thing that comes to me when I think of going with the flow is just allowing yourself not to know where the flow is going. If you allow yourself to be honest that you don't really know where the flow is going, even if you have a clear-cut idea of what you want, that doesn't necessarily mean you know where the flow is going to take you in terms of how things look and unfold. And that's a deep, wonderful fact to tune into, because you can really know what you want in your heart and you can be driven and moving towards that, but you still have no idea what life's going to bring you and how things are going to unfold in terms of the form. There's an idea that the form is the thing that needs to be controlled, and then I'm just letting that go. And I think there's some deep truth to that, but I also think that there's another kind of going with the flow, or a deeper going with the flow, where it's not just letting go of the form, but it's opening yourself to be directed, and just a little bit of willingness to move in a direction that seems, personally, it can seem a little foreign. It's like, that doesn't make sense. How's that going to work? And then we just move in that direction, and then we see it does work. And oftentimes when we go with the flow and we're truly in the flow, there's a collaboration, a joining with the ones that are in our lives, rather than a pulling back or a separating and a sort of a being in our own worlds. So that's a wonderful flow to be in, when you just step into allowing yourself to join, and to not defend an idea of your own personal flow, or to protect an idea of your own personal flow, but to let that sense of true going with the flow allow you to move with another, to move with another in a way that joins. It joins. It can seem a little foreign to us as the characters, if we're identified as the character. But as soon as we start to, let go a little bit of the character on the stage, the guy or the girl you see in the bathroom mirror, as soon as we start to let go of that a little bit and allow life to show us what's the direction that's going to really bring us joy and bring us happiness, it's a lot, it becomes more familiar and it becomes a lot more fun, because the lonely journey fails. The lonely journey fails, as Jesus actually says in the Course in Miracles. The lonely journey fails, which is a beautiful line. There's a wonderful path unfolding before us that includes our brothers and includes our people who are around us, whether we like them or not. And that's a wonderful feeling to get into, because even if we don't like them, we're going to start to see they really truly are. They're not different, really. They're the same as us. We're all the same underneath all this game of form. We're all the same. And I don't just mean that we're the same self. I mean, we have the same, pretty much the same core mistaken identity, and we have the same ability to accept the correction. And the correction can happen in, of course, many different ways across many different paths and curriculums of spirituality, but it's wonderful to start letting it happen in the context of our relationships. So to go with the flow is like to step out of your own personal flow into a greater flow that allows for you to feel like you're not alone, because you aren't. You're not alone. We're never alone. So may you be blessed to go with the flow and be a little risky in terms of letting go of your idea of how your flow should be or look, and opening to a greater flow that might not have a picture or an idea associated with it, and that can feel a little uncomfortable or scary, but it's wonderful if you allow yourself to step into it and experience it, and you'll see that where it takes you is somewhere much better than your own personal flow ever could. So may we all be carried, and go with the flow, baby. Feel the flow, and enjoy, and till we meet again, may this message uplift and elevate you. Bye-bye now. When you surrender yourself to the river, you surrender yourself to let life sort of show you that whatever seems to be happening is happening only to give you what you really want in your heart. And of course you can have, sort of a game plan, and hopefully that game plan is guided in coming from the flow of your heart. But ultimately we have no control where things will end up in terms of the form and how life will unfold. And so really it's just about letting ourselves be taken on like a quiet or adventure, or maybe an exciting adventure, or maybe they don't have to be different, exciting and quiet and adventurous. Maybe they're all connected, and they are. So yeah, something about going with the flow allows us to really step outside our own personal ideas of how the flow should go. We think it should go in a certain way, and it has its own way, and that's a beautiful thing. When we step outside of our need to protect our agenda for how things should go, how things should flow, we open ourselves to learn from life in a way it's really wonderful. It's beautiful to step into the flow of life, and however it seems to be showing up or appearing, just to be in a place of acceptance and love and resting in your center, and seeing that you're not there by accident or by random, that your flow is right where you are, even if it seems that it's not. Your flow is there. Your flow is always here. And where are you? You're always here. So when we think we're not in our flow, or when we think our flow is being obscured or blocked, it's different ideas for different people about what those blocks are, but they're all really ultimately the same. It's an idea that I need to be in charge. And when we let go of being in charge and we give up our need to sort of control anything, the flow starts to carry us in a way that it always has been, but then we start to relax into the flow, into the river, and it could seem like class 6 rapids or just a gentle, quiet little flow, but when we surrender to it, it's always an experience of wonderful. It's just beautiful. And when we don't surrender to it, it's not that it's not wonderful and beautiful still, it's that we just don't recognize it. And so why don't we recognize it? Because we have the power to believe in the reality of what doesn't exist. And that's always what makes things so not feel not wonderful, or feel kind of crappy, or difficult, or we say, oh, it's adverse, it's going against the flow, it's not going with my flow. But always we're being offered the opportunity to set down the idea of my flow, the idea of their flow, the idea of competition between my flow and the world's flow. All that stuff, just set it aside and open yourself to the idea that your flow is happening just like your life looks right now. And if it seems to be going in a way that you wish it could go differently, then just take a deep breath and go, hey, wait a minute, this is the way it is right now. And it doesn't have to be bad. I mean, I'm not saying you should deny your emotions if you have difficult emotions coming up. Don't deny them if you're angry, if you're fearful, but don't feed them either, and don't allow them to tell you, to tell you and direct you as to how your day is going and how your flow is going. As a matter of fact, when you're going with the flow and you come up to your emotions that seem to be blocks, that is the exact moment when life is welcoming you to see that no, that's not a block. That is the perfect part of your flow today. That's exactly what you need. And when you're brought right up to that particular situation where it seems like, oh, it's just not flowing, it feels kind of hard, it's great, that's perfect, because the flow doesn't happen like avoiding all these things. The flow happens while you accept and embrace all these things in love, or at least at the willingness to embrace them, even if you don't know how to love them. Just to be like, okay, acknowledge them and open to them, and then your flow has a chance to express and take you beyond how you think it should flow, how you think it should look. And that's so wonderful to see that what seems to be a problem in one moment, where it's like, oh man, things just aren't flowing well, something really wrong is happening. It seems like it could almost be like a wall that you just can't get through. And that's a good thing, because if you just come up to that wall and then acknowledge, oh, this feels kind of hard, it feels impenetrable, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But then you just go, you know what, I don't even have to know how I'm going to get through it. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to acknowledge that there is a flow to life that flows in spite of all the things that I consider to be obstacles and problems and blocks. And not only does it flow through them and carry me through them, it invites me to see that that power is carrying me, it's guiding me in a way is showing me that I'm not alone. I'm not separate from the wisdom and the love of my own heart. I'm not separate from the wisdom and love of my brothers and sisters. And the flow is a flow of really, you could say, deeply allowing yourself to be carried in the waters of love and the currents of love, and you can get so adept at letting the current carry you that you start to see that everything around you is part of your flow. And it doesn't matter if it's going your way or not. It doesn't matter. That part of your thinking process becomes obsolete, and something else kicks in. Now, you could think of going with the flow as like an opportunity to just acknowledge every choice point you come to as an opportunity to listen and step into a current or a frequency that is not driven by you. It's actually driven from somewhere deeper than your person and your your character. So, you know, the character we see in the mirror when we wake up in the morning, and the characters we see around us, those characters are not the ones who are here to direct the flow. They're here to be carried. And how can they be carried, and who allows them to be carried but you? It's you. It's always been you. And you, I say you, I mean your, me, your I am presence, the same I am presence that we all share, the one presence. That presence is here to carry all of us and to help us see these characters in the right light, to not be intimidated by the form of things in any way, either going well or going bad. It's stepping away from that whole narrative that things could go against the grain of how they should be going, because they're unfolding just as they're meant to unfold. And truly speaking, and I mean this in the deepest possible way, all is well. Doesn't matter. Whatever your financial situation is, it's flowing perfectly. Whatever your family situation is, it's flowing perfectly. Whatever your love life is like, it's flowing perfectly. Just step back from your narrative that it's broken or it's wrong or something needs to shift in order for you to be happy. It's happening just the way it's meant to happen, so that you can see you don't have a problem right now. You never have a problem right now. And just, for a moment, profoundly consider that right now you never have a problem. You don't have a problem, and you never have had a problem right now, if you're honest. So join me in being honest, and let's recognize and see through everything that is contrary to the truth, that you do not have a problem right now. Whatever seems to be against that, just be willing to not believe it for a moment, not to feed into it, not to maintain it. I'm not saying to deny what you seem to be feeling and going through, but just be willing not to maintain it, not to maintain it or weave a narrative of hardship and difficulty. It can be that simple. We just start to sink inside and rest in the flow, the current of love. And the more you sink into the current, the more your life is directed in a way that, allows you your decisions to all fall in line with that, so that you start to see, I don't want anything other than that. And there's only that happening. That's all that's going on. All that's happening is love. All that's happening is truth. If fear seems to be happening, it's only happening in order to give love. It's only happening in order to shine light, bring truth. So you don't need to avoid fear, but just know that the flow of life is carrying you in such a way that will allow you to flow through all obstacles and bring those obstacles to light and shine through them and give that gift to all the entire universe, the whole world. So may you be blessed in the flow and feel the power of the flow carrying you, and just nourished in your heart, resting in your heart, and courageous to declare and rest in the vibration of all as well. Yes. Okay. May you be lifted and elevated in this message. Thank you. Till next time. Bye-bye.